the elected official has to consent to in writing.
No.
A township superintendent, they can strip anybody of their duties and give it to the superintendent without their permission. That is the big difference, and that is why, that's why I wish everybody had a copy of this. On the second page, under now therefore be it resolved as follows, the second part, it says, pursuant to this resolution, a township superintendent position as specified in Michigan Canon Law 42.10 as amended is being created for Big Rapids Charter Township. However, to avoid confusion, both within the Big Rapids Charter Township offices and among members of the general public, the superintendent will be given the title of Big Rapids Charter Township Manager, or Township Manager for short, and such title shall be utilized for all township business and matters. Nevertheless, for purposes of statutory duties, authority, and similar matters, the official shall be deemed to be a township superintendent, pursuant to Michigan Canon Law 4210. They specifically wrote this up and made the position superintendent so that they could evade having Maxine have to give consent to hand over her duties. They can literally strip her, take any of these duties, and I will tell you right here, this is the list. 2 pages. It literally, they literally could strip her of any and all of these duties at any time that they wish by board action.
Except assessing.
Except assessing.
If they're a manager.
If they are a township superintendent. And it's strange that you want to have a township superintendent who you will call manager.
It's kind of redundant, isn't it?
Yeah. No, what they did, they specifically wrote this and set it up so that they could bypass the law that would, the step that would make it mandatory that she would have to consent in writing before they could take away any of her duties. If they hire a township, if they pass this resolution and hire a township superintendent, they will be able to strip her of any and all of these duties at will.
I can say very honestly that I would love to have some help. Things that, you know, we've got a lot we have to do in that township. But I also understand that the things that Wayne would leave for me to do would be, and he wants to be the one that they contact if there's a business coming into town. If it's going to go meet with Steve Silver.
I want to say something else.
And I understand which
I want to say something else. If in fact, the purpose of this is truly to help Maxine, then why didn't you do it by either authorizing her to hire a full-time assistant, or she doesn't have a full-time assistant. She has a deputy secretary, or deputy supervisor, excuse me. Authorize her to hire a full-time assistant, or else have a township manager. You purposely went the route of a township superintendent instead of a township manager. Right?
There's a fundamental problem here that I see. Now, I admit that I've only worked with the township since, 1972, is it?
1968.
1968.
You were appointed to the zoning board.
I've been involved with government in one way or another, and I believe in the power of my vote to elect people to represent me. Now, in the township law, this power is for me to elect the supervisor of the township, who then has the administrative responsibilities for the township. This proposes to eliminate my power, to circumvent it. Frankly, I think it's an overt, illegal act. The way that this has been gone around, I would be the first one to march up to the prosecuting attorney and ask him to review this action. Because I think it's illegal. And I don't think that it should be. He would like it to come to a vote. And then we have a discussion. I don't think you can vote on it legally. But he would like to act illegally. That's my feeling. Now, I voted for him when he came up for his office. I'm not going to say anything behind his back that I wouldn't say to him. But from my vote, from my standpoint, I never used my vote for which I regretted more than I vote for Wayne O'Neill.
No comment.
I think we're kind of mixing audience comments and board comments again, and what I would like to do is, if we've moved to this item for action, for the, to try to help you people not waste your whole evening here. But, so I'd like to have the board make the determination if they're going to act on it and what the action's going to be, and have discussion on it, and then once the board's done with their comments, then we can open up to the public again. So if the board is prepared...
They leave her that proposal. I mean, nobody out here knows what it is.
Sherry?
I don't think you should do a thing with it.
Stand on the motion.
I'm sorry. So, Bernie, you want the motion read aloud?
Yeah.
I got a question.
There's no motion. There's no motion.
I'm sorry, the resolution.
You should have a motion before this discussion anyways.
You're right.
There should be a motion on the floor. Then you have discussion, either pass or fail it.
I have a question. Okay. I have a question. I'm confused. In the part that you just read,
Yeah.
in the back here, where it says, to persuade to this resolution, Township superintendent position as specified, MCLA 4210, as amended, is being created for Big Rapids Charter Township. However, to avoid confusion, both within the Big Rapids Charter Township offices and among members of the general public, the superintendent will be given the title of Big Rapids Charter Township Manager, or Township Manager for short. Isn't that taking it away from superintendent, changing it
No,
to
it's
manager?
not, and they specifically say,
It's name only.
nevertheless,
On the township.
for purposes of statutory duty, authority, and similar matters, the official shall be deemed to be a township superintendent pursuant to Michigan Canon Law 4210.
If it's a manager position, then it's up to me to relinquish any of the duties.
If this resolution was to authorize the board to hire a township manager, it would be an entirely different story. Because a township manager can only assume the duties of the clerk, the treasurer, the supervisor, if they are willing to consent to it in writing. But the superintendent, that's a totally different story. But the superintendent, the board can literally strip all of her duties from her and assign them to a township superintendent in a charter township.
The very important issue that bothers me the most is the fact that to move into something like this, when I know how tight our budget is. I mean, we've squeezed out road money, and we've got, I think, 40 different places that people want that road work done. And I think to even begin to talk about this, first we have to talk about how we're going to afford to do it, and hopefully in 2010, they did not recognize our mid-decade census for the first time. They did not fund it. And so we are expecting to get a pretty good bonus in our revenues because we had a 50% growth in our population. But until 2010, when we are recognized, that population is recognized and we're funded for it, I don't think we've got the funds to do something like this. I would love to have some help, but I certainly, would like to have a way to, I'd certainly like to have some choice in which duties we shared and I'd like to also be sure we could pay the bill.